just for you, a guide on how to get this all set up. Things you'll need your profile RDA, something sturdy. You'll need the coiling tool that came with the profile RDA. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver. You'll need some cotton. I like this cotton, it's easy to work with. Some profile style coils. You should have a few that came with the kit, and then others you'll have to just buy. Alright, first things first, these screws right here on either side, you'll have to loosen them up. One right here, one right here. What you want is to be able to fit that coil between this right here, so you can place the coil before you have to tighten it down. See? Once your screws are loose, you're going to take the coil, you're going to take the coiling tool that comes with the profile, you just want to use it to create the curve, the perfect curve for the coil. You essentially just wrap the coil around it, just like that. You end up getting the perfect curve. Right, then you want to take that curved coil, you want to slide it in between the clamps here. Make sure that it's flush, it's even, and then you just want to tighten it down. That's what it should look like once it's tightened down. You see there's no play, it's nice and tight, it doesn't have to be super tight. I went ahead and I put in my battery just to give it a test fire. Nice and quick, nice and even, good glowing fire. Once you've gotten this nice and fired up, it's all solid, and you've let it cool down, you want to insert cotton essentially right under here. This is spring loaded. This keeps the cotton pushed up against the coil. So you just take the cotton, push it in here, push this down as you're pushing it through, and you get a nice even piece in there. This is about as much as I use. It looks like a bit much, but it'll be a little compressed under the coil itself, and this little spring-loaded white piece will push it up, so it'll always be in contact with the whole coil. That's important. Alright, this is that cotton, nice and fluffed, installed. Same piece of cotton that I showed. Just nice and installed there. Nice and ready. This needs to be trimmed a little bit, so you need to trim that so that it's so you can tuck it in without any overhang. We don't need excess cotton, just enough. Right, there you go. This is about as much as I like. You do want to fluff out the cotton, so you can do that with your scissors. You can do that with anything really, but you essentially just want to make it so the cotton gets a little fluffier. See that difference? You do that on both sides. These little fluffs, just get rid of them, cut them off or whatever. As you fluff the cotton, a lot of the cotton will fall off. It's totally fine. Just make sure both sides fluffy. All the little excess loose cotton gets pulled out. Do this on both sides. And then it's time to tuck in. This is the cotton nice and fluffed. Right there. And this is the cotton tucked in. All I really did was take my tool, kind of just worked my way around, tucked it in on the side here. The next step is just to add a little bit of juice, prime it, and then, you know, fire it a couple times just to make sure that everything's good. Seal it, put the battery in, let it seal it all up, and we're done. Just take a little bit of your juice. I have mango mint. Take a little bit of your juice and just put a couple dabs here and there. Alright, just put a couple dabs here and there, let the cotton absorb it. You want the cotton to be a little saturated before you seal everything up, so that when you actually squonk, then the cotton is saturated on the top, the cotton is absorbed from the bottom, and it's just a continuous cycle of keeping that cotton saturated. This helps that process start. See how it's absorbing all the juice right now? Just going to keep priming it, letting it absorb a little bit, and then we'll seal her up and test her out. Here's a close-up of that priming process. All we're doing is putting a couple drops here and there, just making sure that the cotton gets saturated, both on the sides and on top. The underside, the squonk will take care of it, so no worries there. Alright, once you see that it starts not absorbing as fast, then you can stop. Maybe give it a couple hits, fire it up a couple times, just to make sure that everything is firing the way it should. Alright, here we're going to do test fire number 1. Looking good. Oh, we just saw a hot spot. I don't know if you caught that right there on the top. We want those to be saturated. It's important to do these tests. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cotton, I'm going to push it from here, I'm going to lift it a little bit, just to make sure that that edge right here is being touched by the cotton. I'll do that on both sides and try to get rid of that hot spot. Alright, so we fluffed it, got those hot spots, I think, taken care of. Let's see. Yep, looks good. So, you know, nothing glowing. It's consistent. What that hot spot will end up doing is actually burning the vapor as it leaves the coil, going towards you. It will actually burn the vapor as it leaves the coil, and then create harshness when you're vaping. So you don't want those hot spots. So we got rid of them now. At this point, we can seal her up, put the cap on, and just vape.